Hello there. Have you ever noticed that logic and language don't always go together very well? Sometimes you think, how's that possible? Or you will see something that really doesn't make any sense. Take, for instance, the word inflammable and flammable. Actually, they mean the same. Flammable, inflammable just means that something is likely to burn easily. So how come we have a word like flammable and then add in and it still means the same? Whereas we're used to having in as a kind of opposite, meaning not. For instance, think of accurate versus inaccurate. Appropriate and inappropriate, significant and insignificant, secure and insecure, and so on. We're used to seeing in, the prefix in, as a kind of negation. That's not always the case. In the case of inflammable, which was the original word, the in was not a separate prefix really in English. The entire word was derived from Latin, from the verb inflammare, to cause, to burn. And in Latin, actually, the prefix in very often meant to cause to. So English imported, adapted this word. We got inflammable. But then later on, some people began to think that doesn't make sense. Inflammable for something that's likely to burn. Why don't we use flammable for that? And nowadays you see that flammable is actually used more often in order to avoid that wrong conclusion that people might draw that inflammable means non-flammable, which is actually the correct way of saying that. There are other words in English where in doesn't mean a negation. Think of something like interesting or insure or intoxicated. And if you get something like interesting, the opposite would then be uninteresting. We'd use un then as a prefix. There are also other meanings of an actual prefix in versus ex or in versus out. Think of inhale and exhale, or internal and external. So I get back to my starting point now. Language is not always logical. Only think of that word flammable, inflammable. See you next time. Bye-bye.